Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. I think the Yabba Forbes, the Monday, will be joining us shortly, but we've just had a discussion backstage where we think all the news is really boring tonight, so we're going to completely change it. So if you've come to listen about new stadiums or Casemiro, maybe we can get to that, but neither of us are interested in talking about it. Is that correct, Mr. B?
Yes, 100%. And you know what? It's better that we're honest. It's better that we're honest than we sit down there and waffle about something that we have no interest in.
Well, it's just like, I mean, the new stadium, right? The way that I see it, it is essentially, it's just Ineos trying to get the government to pay for it by saying, like, we're going to regenerate the stadium. Until they've got a spade in the soil, I'm not that interested in it, to be honest. I love Old Trafford. And Casemiro, he's just not very good anymore. That's basically what the stories were.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, you read the story and it's, you know, he didn't expect to come to Old Trafford and be playing and be fighting for Champions League. He expected that just to be qualifying every week. Well, if you keep giving the bloody ball away as a player and letting us, you're not helping the situation. You know what I mean? So I don't even understand why he's upset. These players, if they were playing well, then there wouldn't be any of this misinformation floating around. But the fact that he's been playing crap for nearly 400 days, I'm sorry, man. He can't moan. He can't moan.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with me is I remember that, okay, so we lost to Brighton and Brentford when he turned up, like before he turned up. All over social media, I saw this thing saying, tell them, don't worry, I'm coming to fix it. And now we're getting stories saying, like, oh, Casemiro, this isn't what he signed up for. I mean, it's also not what we signed up for. We didn't sign up for this guy to get fat and useless, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, the thing is, he got fat for one season. He came back slim. Everybody said, oh, he looks like he's lost weight. But I said, my argument always was, once your legs go, it doesn't matter how slim you get. Your legs are your legs. You know what I mean? I think some people are saying to me that it's the formation that we're playing that's exposing him. To a certain extent, I do agree with that. But
yeah,
it's just him being in possession of the football and the decisions that he makes. You know, I understand that he can't get across the pitch, but to be fair, have we really been run through this season? I didn't see the last game. Have we been run through?
Yeah,
we have.
Less than last year, but we're still too open and things, and it's I don't know. I mean, it's like it's just Eric Ten Hag stuff at the moment, and we're going to do the hellos, and then I'll tell you what we've decided to talk about because it's basically just two things. But I'm really hoping that everyone enjoys it. But first off, it's Big Matty Bassett, or well, less big now. He's off the kebabs, so pick yourself up.
Yeah, football season started, man. He's trim Matt now. He's trim Matt Bassett.
Yeah, and it's Bart. Good evening to you all, Bart. And do you want to say where DK Wilson is from?
Oh God, he is from. Oh, I could say every time I think of somewhere, I just think of bloody Arizona. Arizona's so hot.
All right, he's from Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Tucson, Arizona.
I've been there. I saw a naked man in the bus stop. I'll never forget it.
Pardon?
I went to Tucson, Arizona. Like when I was, I played a football tournament in Mexico, and I had to go to America to go to Mexico, and I took a bus from Tucson, Arizona. And when I got to the bus station, there was this really fat man, completely naked, just wandering about the bus station. It was a sign of things to come.
You can even talk.
No, I was just picturing it with Casemiro's face. And it's Bilal. Good evening, people. Bilal, I'm very sorry, but I meant to say this, but I think in one of the chats you said that you've had an accident and that this is why you're titanium now, because I assume you've got some metal put in you. Is that correct? And I hope you're okay if that's the case. Andrew is a loser. Oh God, Andrew. Seen loads of articles and Rich talking about Højlund today, how Rudi's going to turn him into a killer. Between that and the Rashford gym bullshit, I'm at the end of my tether. Well, I'm very pleased you come here to share this with us.
Andrew, I'm going to ask, and people in the chat as well. Obviously, Rashford put up a video yesterday. And he's getting battered for it. I don't understand. I don't get it. The fact that he's doing, it looks like extra work. I thought people would be happy. What? I don't understand.
I think it's a case of you just like out of sight, out of mind in these things. Like when you're not performing well, and I have to say that everyone knows, dislike Rashford. I think he's been one of our better players this season in terms of what's been asked of him. But it's people don't want to see him like doing this kind of thing because it's basically just talking. If it's not on the football pitch for United, it's just waffle.
With no defenders in front of him and stuff like that. Is that okay?
I imagine if Luke Shaw like filmed himself in his kitchen and he's got a bowl full of custard and he just pushes it away and he doesn't eat it. Like you'd be like, that's what you're meant to be doing. That's how I kind of feel about all this Rashford stuff.
Oh, no, you're an idiot.
I know. Simon Warner isn't an idiot, though. Good evening to you. Andrew's complaining about our show last night. And Bilal's saying they have to work hard to build themselves like CR7. It's very difficult to compare normal men to Cristiano Ronaldo. Hello, Steph. How are you? You've got an entire team of, I don't know how to say this, but lady men to show me, according to the comments. So I'm looking forward to that. And we've got Thabo Natuli. Big up yourself. I hope you're doing well. And have we got anyone else that is in the house? Oh, it was years ago. Right. Well, so was that bloody song. All right. So we got two topics for all of you tonight. The first one we're going to talk about is a story that I saw today, which is that apparently Ineos have said that they're not so concerned about results for this season. What they are concerned about is performances on the pitch. So I think, Mr. B, what we can say from that is that they want to see committed players and a style of play, whatever that is.
Is it their style of play? Because obviously it sounds like they're not happy with what Ten Hag is dishing up, or the 3 games that Ten Hag has dished up at the moment. Is that more what we're looking at, or are they happy for us to play like Tottenham and play exciting football? Everybody knows that we're the weaknesses, you know. What is it that they want? I mean, I'll be listen, it takes the pressure off Eric, to be fair, doesn't it? If he knows he can go out there, change his style of play, get it more exciting, and they're not going to be worried about results.
Well, I think so I like the idea of a team with a handbrake off, right? Where like we're not going to go away to say Arsenal and try and get a 0-0 or a 1-1. We're going to try and win every game, and we're going to try and do it in a certain way. I think like that's a nice way of kind of trying to return us to the values that we had under Ferguson and other managers beforehand. But in terms of what you're saying about Tottenham, I think that's exactly what they want, because a common critique of Ten Hag is that a manager will come in like Maresca at Chelsea, Slot at Liverpool, Big Ange at Tottenham, and within a couple of games, you have a sense that the team are trying to score through particular methods. Right? With United, we don't really know. It doesn't feel that we know what we're doing on the football pitch. Like, I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's more than fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's fairly obvious. But so I think that what Ineos want is they want an identity on the pitch. And I know I'm using all these rubbish buzzwords and things that don't really mean anything. Well, guess what? We've got a late arrival. He's coming in at the back post. It's Yabba Forbes with his camera on. About to head it in. Can you hear
How's
me?
it go?
Yeah, not a camera, it's my mobile phone. I've got some camera problems. But yeah, I won't be able to read any comments or engage much. But yeah, I'm here.
Good.
Good. Do you know what the topic is?
Blind to it.
Harry Maguire.
No. No.
That's a dirty laugh, Mr. B.
He's been drinking milk as well. It's all over his mustache. So what we're talking about, Yabba, is we've decided that what was on the thumbnail was a bit too boring and we want to talk about something else. So the first topic is Ineos have told Ten Hag that they're not, that whilst they are, concerned with results, they're more concerned with performances on the pitch this year. And that is how he will be judged, by the quality and standard of football that we're seeing on the football pitch. And I wanted to know what you think about that, what you think it means, and what sort of target that sets for Ten Hag.
Yeah, I think once again that's good management. I believe they want to see performances. It's not we understand we're not good enough yet to win games, but you want to see a progression.
Jesus Christ, we're not good enough to win games.
Well, we won 1 in 3, so we're not to win titles. I meant
Okay.
like win enough games to win titles. So to say the performance is a good thing. To say we want to see the standards good. It's like Solo saying to us on the Man United agenda, look, I understand you guys, you're doing it as volunteers, but as long as the performance is good, he's gonna be happy, And we might be getting loads and loads of views, be winning by getting loads of views, for example. But if the performance is bad, then Solo wouldn't be happy. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing. So damn right, for the fans, you need to keep the fans on the side. They want to be able to see a style of play that they can familiarize themselves with and be happy when they come and watch Man United. Now, if you there's always that saying, you don't mind going down losing as long as the effort's there, the performance is there, and you can see some encouraging signs. So with the young players coming through, I think they understand that they're not fully developed yet. A lot of players that we're signing, so it's going to take some time. They realize this project could take a couple of years, but they want to see slowly baby steps towards ultimate goal of winning titles again. And I think the most important thing is to get the performances right. At least that way, if we're outperformed by a better team like Liverpool, for example, at least we can say, yeah, Liverpool are ahead of us, ahead of schedule. So I like that. I like that comment. I don't think it adds any pressure to the manager so much. It's just because what you want to do is like not come out with a statement that's going to say, oh, if you don't win your next game, you're out of a job. We don't want to be going to that sort of stage. Let the manager play without pressure, and let him try to focus on what he's been asked to do, is get the players performing at a good standard and showing his identity.
All right, I'm just going to come back to that in a second. But I want to do some comments. But essentially, what I'm going to ask you is that it's a different form of pressure now. It's still pressure. Like there's still an expectation of something. It's just that expectation has changed. Okay. Right. So first of all,
sorry, bath time. Change from what to what?
The pressure would normally be that you've got to go out and get 3 points against Brighton or Fulham or whatever. But now the pressure is that your team have got to go out. They've got to perform individually to a certain standard. So you've got to see effort and things that the fans connect with. And it's also got to be obvious how you've got to be like trying to dominate games, and you've got to be scoring goals.
I think the biggest issue is scoring goals. I think that's been Ten Hag's biggest issue since he's come.
Right. Well, can I do the comments?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
You know what these little gremlins are like? If they don't see their name on the screen. Like Andrew sends me like DMs during the show now saying, put this up. Like honestly, unreal. Bart is saying that new signings should be judged until they've played 500 minutes in the league. Which is what? Is that's just under 5 games. Just over 5 games, about 6 games. Steph is saying Ineos out equals in Eric out speculation. Right, and so Andrew's now given us what he thinks of the performances for each of the games. 5 out of 10, I'm assuming that's average. Above average for Brighton, which we lost, and 3 out of 10 for Liverpool. Yabba, are you happy with those ratings, or should they all be 10s?
Who can argue with the rating king, Andrew Williams? I would never argue with him. He's always on point. No, I disagree with some of them. I think the Fulham performance was probably average. Yeah. Brighton performance, I would say that's average again. And Liverpool performance, once again, average, below average possibly because we lost. So yeah, there or thereabouts. Andrew's never really, getting it wrong when it comes to ratings. So I have to respect his game.
Yeah, well, he says for Brighton, we were all right until the first goal went in. And Bilal is saying that he also didn't mind the Brighton result. I think what they're saying is that they didn't. The performance was actually was all right and was better than we've put in against Brighton historically over the last 4 or 5 years. Simon is saying that was a fun stream last night, changing the names of players. I really liked it as well, but Steph in the comments told me she had an entire 11 of new names for the players, and I really want to see it. We got Chris Wines.
Save it for when the screamer comes back.
We got Chris Wines saying, big up, fellas. And he's saying, Casemiro crying again. Poor guy making 300k a week. We've decided not to talk about him, Chris. We want to talk about more fun things. Because it's just negative stories all the bloody time. It's boring. And Simon's saying that the Prem is back on Saturday. Thank God. Well, hopefully, always be wary of 12:30 kickoffs, especially after an international break where Martinez, Ugarte, Garnacho, that's a 15-hour flight. Like, I'm very
when did they play?
about that.
When did they play?
They're playing tonight. Ugarte plays at 1 o'clock in the morning tonight. And we'll get into it on the preview, but I'd be very surprised to see him start on Saturday.
He better bloody be starting on Saturday.
He won't.
He better be starting on Saturday.
He won't. All right, we'll talk about it on Thursday.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. Right. So, Mr. B, you were talking about goals scored. In the last 3 seasons, we haven't scored over 60 goals in the league, and the only time that we have scored over 70 goals in the league was 72 in the lockdown season with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But as you know, lockdown, I don't think you can judge the players on lockdown because they have nothing else to do. So in terms of performances, I think that what we are probably going to be looking at isn't so much goals, but chances. Like, we want to see lots and lots of consistent chances created and not just from Bruno whacking it about. So what do you think? How can that be represented on the pitch? Like, what has to change? What's going on there?
Well, I mean, he just seems to have gone back to the last 3 games of last season, or the last 4 games of last season, with the one he's whether he's not listening to Wilcox anymore, or the fact that he's got his extension, he probably feels that he doesn't need to. I'm not sure, but it just seems to be different from what we finished with last season. I understand Højlund's not playing, but even the midfield part of it just seems to be maybe not completely wrong, but it just seems to be different. There doesn't seem to be that security in there. I know it was only Amrabat in there, but obviously we had players maybe sitting slightly deeper or playing higher up or playing closer to close off gap. I don't know what the situation is, but I think there's an issue there.
Okay, so I think what you're telling me is that, well, this is the way I see it, is that at the end of last season, there was a directive that came in from Wilcox about how we need a false 9 to get someone back to maybe plug up the midfield a little bit, protect on transitions, etc., etc. And we definitely went into more results-driven football. Like, Ten Hag in particular was probably terrified of all those records that he could have broken least amount of points, least amount of goals, all that kind of stuff. And this season, but we have seen some slight tactical changes, certainly around the pressing structure in the team. But with this freedom given to Ten Hag, what do you think is going to happen, if anything at all?
Yeah, I think we're going to see change. I think the first 3 games we have seen some promising things. I think we've seen the issues that we had before about being a bit open in midfield. I think we secured up a bit more. Examples, are the Man City games, Charity Shield, FA Cup final against the best team in a decade. They're really a great team, and they didn't really mash us up as we expected them to, so that's promising. Against Brighton and Fulham, we sort of restricted the opportunities that they had, I believe. Then we created some chances. Obviously, I've always mentioned the 2 chances Bruno had against Fulham. That was promising. So I think we can create chances. It's just about, what it is, you've got to get your groove on, man. This is a saying, that's a saying like Mr. Beast used to say in the 80s, get your groove on, and it's true, but that sort of saying is not said a lot. And this really represents what we should be about, Man United. Just take your time, get your groove on. Let's get gelling with one another. Let's, start to oil things together, make us smooth and a nice, well-oiled, big red machine that can run.
Why red? Why is it a big red machine? Because we're United.
Yeah, because we're United, and that's Kane from WWE as well.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, that's right. But that's the whole point. Look, people say I'm always positive, whatever, but you have to remember this: like, we're fans, we love our club, we want to see us do well. But as long as you see a project and as long as you see some progression, that's the whole thing. It's about growth, isn't it? It's like raising a child. You look back at their pictures when they were ugly little babies and they grow into like handsome, beautiful little, daughters and that. And you say, oh, look, when they had a squishy face when they're a baby and everyone says they're cute when they know they weren't, and they grow up and the thing is, they grow up and you support them. You water them from the fans as a fan base. You support them by watering them with good words. Come on, United, get behind your team. These were positive things coming. Like I like to. This is why people always say why it was positive, because I know I've got allotment. This is how I am with my plants. I water them, I put sunshine on them, I feed them, I protect them from snails and all them kind of thing. And this is what this is what fans have to do as well. They have to realize that if you shout beautiful things, come on guys, we're behind you all the way, United, and all these lovely things, it will help this team grow. So you'll look back in a few years' time. Remember that ugly team we had as a baby? Look what they've grown into. A fine young man, or a fine team, or young, beautiful daughter, a comely daughter, whatever. These are the things we want to see. This is what makes parents proud. This is what makes fans proud, to see the growth. and you could take, and the thing is, as fans, you can take pride in seeing the growth. You know what I'm saying? Like watching the cast of 92, seeing them grow from 1992 to 1999, winning the Champions League. That's a beautiful thing. These are stories we love. So I'm patient, and going back to the main point, let's let the team get into the groove. What have Madonna and toilet paper got in common?
Oh, no.
I don't know.
They both get into the groove. That's what I'm saying. And you should add Man United to that as well. Come on.
All right. I've got quite a lot. Look at this. Is this Yabanori? Brilliant. We need to protect Casemiro from snails.
The snails will be beating him across the pitch as well, for God's sake. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah, but I have got some serious issues with you after saying that.
Yeah.
My first is, does this squad need a disciplinarian as a manager?
Are you asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. You need discipline. All children need discipline, and it's the way to direct you. If you fall off the path, you need discipline to get you back on the path. It's like following the law of God or something. You need that discipline. Stay on. No, don't get your head turned. Don't resist temptation. You know, stay on that path, the path which is lead to sort of glory and wonderful things. But if you jump off that path and transgress against the law, you know, bad things happen to you. That's the meaning of life, you know. So this is what I'm saying. You, as a parent, going back to a parent, if you have like Mr. B, your child playing good football, he's a good, well-mannered kid and everything else, because anytime he goes off line, you give him the rod of correction. And that's what footballers need as well. They need the rod of correction. So if they go off the path, the rocky path, you can bring them back online and give, with experience as a parent, like Ten Hag is, to bring them back in line. So discipline is important, bath time. You know that as well. So you can't deny that.
I do, but I like the fact that you started off saying that as fans, we've got to indulge the players, water them, give them sun, protect them from snails. I bring up discipline, and you've got your rod out. Like
the carrot and the stick. Yeah. It's like the carrot and the stick. Yeah, we beat you with a stick and feed you a nice carrot.
But the other thing, Yabba, is I asked you, how do you think that this can translate on the pitch? And I was hoping to hear what a style of play was, instead of like Yabba's fables about the snail that ate the rod or whatever. So in terms of what we can see on the pitch, with a little bit of, because I think that this is a little bit of freedom being given to Ten Hag and the squad, saying, you know, you've got a bit more parameters to experiment with now, but we do need to see controlled games, effort, and chances created. And I was hoping that you'd tell us how that could happen.
Well, we know the pattern. We win the ball in the final third, have one or two passes, and score a goal. Simple as that. It doesn't make it really complicated. Go on, Mr. B.
Is that a pattern? That, I mean, I have listened. If we score 5 goals in a game doing that, I'll be over the moon. I'll be over the moon. But I would like to see us. I just want to see us score 5 goals in a game, and not just have 5 chances. Yeah. You know, we're playing teams. We're seeing teams are creating, 10 and 11 chances a game. All right, fine. If we don't take the chances and we lose the game, we're gonna be mad. So let's not get, let's not pretend, oh, we want to see chances and we don't mind if we lose. Oh, we bloody do. But I want to see us open teams up. Not chance after chance after chance. Right, that's probably not. It's not going to happen. Even when we play against 10 men, it doesn't happen. But let's see them want to score goals. Let's see them want to go forward. I mean, you're right. Maybe it will take a little bit of pressure. Maybe they are using their head, and they do want to take a little bit of pressure off him. But I still think it's a results. I still think it's results based, because when we play, nice, sweet football, and we finish below 8th this season, he's got no chance of staying. He's got absolutely no chance.
Okay, just a little bit of boring admin, I'm afraid, boys. Andrew, the comment you posted, which I've just deleted, is completely unacceptable. You're on a yellow card for that. Please don't do that again. I know you meant no bad stuff, but
I have no idea.
You can't objectify people like that. So please don't do that again. Or anyone else. It's all right. I screenshotted it. I'll show it to you later.
Cheers.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, like, the comments are like, yeah, but you just are world class, basically. You ask a question and we get a prophecy. Yeah,
I can't see the comments from here. I'm on a very small screen. I can't read anything.
They're all along the lines of this. Everyone is enjoying what your sort of mixed metaphors about snails and so on, and I certainly did as well. So it's why you're a star. You come on, get asked about playing a football match, and we hear the tale of your allotment. Fantastic.
It all relates to life, and football is life. Football is life, and we enjoy it so much. It's the same thing applies. The same principles that apply to raising children and nurturing people and keeping them on the right track applies to football teams as well. And as fans, the power in the words, in the beautiful hymns that we sing, towards our team, it's a beautiful thing, and it can help them a long way. Just we're talking about pressure. I know Mr. B was talking about the pressure on the manager. It's not just that; it's on the players as well. Mr. Bath Time always makes me laugh when he talks about the big veins in Haaland's brain. You know, you can see him in his temples. The pressure. He tries too hard, doesn't he? So with this sort of thing about easing up the pressure on the players and less tension, because we are a spotlight club. I think the players have a bit less pressure on them. Not pressure that's gonna. You need pressure in a way to go out and perform, but less pressure as in being in the spotlight and worrying like that. You know, you want to enjoy yourself. You want to enjoy the game and have fun and have a good relationship with the fans. And I think if Haaland, for example, had less pressure, he wouldn't be 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and then be like, you know, stressing out. He just needs to let things happen. Just let it happen. Let it flow. Get into the groove.
Yeah, I do think that's a bit babying at the same time, though. Yeah, but like there used to be a particular type of character that you needed to be to succeed at Manchester United. Like Mr. B brought up the other day that when you go through basically the treble team to like you know, sort of even all the way up to 2012, 2014, there weren't really weak characters in the team, and there were definitely players that responded to pressure. Like, I think Beckham, I've never seen anyone like respond the way that Beckham did to the pressure that came on him after the World Cup. I don't like the fact that this is seen as an excuse for the pressure to come off a player like Rashford, or the pressure to come off a player like Bruno, because when you're at Manchester United, you've got to be able to deal with the pressure as both a player and a manager, for me. So I would hate to think that our players are capable of performing at a higher level, but it's the inability to deal with the pressure that is stopping them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, but don't you believe we're talking about? I mean, Mr. B, you love Rashford. Maybe it is pressure. If you take a bit of pressure off him and expectation of him, maybe he will perform better. I can imagine him with his skill set going somewhere else and being fantastic. You know, because he would turn around and say, less pressure. It's a bit like Angel Gomez. He might have done if he's playing for England tonight, but he's in England squad. He said, I had to leave Man United to find my way, you know, to get away from it. He was there from 7 years old. Just find his way and get less pressure of trying to get into the first team, go somewhere and enjoy your football. And then a few years later, he's playing for England. He's an England international, you know. So I just think the pressure, the eras have changed. We did have that, you talk about the class of 99 and the attitude and the culture of the club back then. But football has changed a lot. It has. You have to agree. And maybe this is the right way, a psychological way of getting the best out of players by saying, maybe we don't need to be too hard on you. Just go and enjoy the game, even though you're getting loads of money and there's a lot of pressure and there's social media. You can still enjoy the game and hopefully that make you perform better. Maybe that's the idea there. I'm not saying it is. Maybe that is. I'm just saying.
Well, just look at some of these comments. Like this one. This is certainly true since Ten Hag came in. If we don't get the first goal or we go a goal down, the heads drop instantly. We've seen that all season. You only have to go back maybe 3 or 4 years to the unbeaten away record that Ollie had. That was the last time I felt that if we conceded a goal, I wasn't that worried. Like, because I knew we had the fight to get back in. DK is saying that like we used to have 25 sharks in the locker room, and Chris is saying like, look, when playing for Sir Alex, there'd be no greater pressure to play than in front of him. And also when you look what's behind him on the bench, if you're Andy Cole and you're not playing well, there's Sheringham there, there's Solskjaer there, like there's that kind of pressure that's going on. And also, Andrew, please stop. I don't want to have to time you out, but if you continue the way you're going, you're not making it a fun experience. So just take it in and stop pissing about. Mr. B, what do you think about all this stuff about pressure?
They're professional footballers. At the end of the day, they're playing for the biggest club in the country. You know, if they didn't want pressure, then they wouldn't have come to Man United. What's the word? Mollycoddling? That's the word. That one there. I'm not really into that. They're grown men. You do that to your children. I do that to my son and my daughter. These are adults, you know. If they don't want the pressure, leave. Hand in a transfer request and get lost. Bring somebody else who can do the job. It's not. I'm not. I just. I want Ten Hag to succeed, but he's been given virtually everything. All he has to do now is drive to work, train them, and go home. He don't have to worry about buying players. He don't all those things, all of those external things that he had to deal with last season. He doesn't have to deal with. Get the players on the training ground and coach them. You got Haka. He's his brethren from wherever he was. Whether or not he wanted Rude in, I'm not sure. But I would like to think that they came to agreement on that. If he sees Rude as a threat, good. It means that you have to step up your game, because you know there's a man watching everything that you're going to do wrong. Rude's going to change, and it's going to be great for the players. But like anything else, these players will take a year of a soft manager who doesn't know nothing about tactics. And then, oh, we need a tactical coach. Oh, we need a disciplinarian. They get the disciplinarian. Oh, we don't want a disciplinarian. We want a man who's going to wipe our blood clot battles every morning for us. You know what I mean? It just changes.
It's like a cycle.
Yeah. Everything just changes. Always want more, always want more. You know what? You've got your manager. You're getting paid your money. Come in, do your job. I mean, even if you come in, do your job and go home and don't, that's fine. But do your job. A lot of them aren't doing what they're getting paid for. Bath time. And this is the problem I've got.
I kind of agree, because the thing is that like we're not very good as a football team at the moment. And I think that the pressure is something that they're kind of inviting on themselves. Like if you're struggling with what's on social media, turn it off. It's like that film, you know, The Ring, where that girl comes out of the telly to get you. Like United Trey is not going to come out of the telly and call you a dusty baller if you just don't look at your phone. Do you know what I mean? Just don't mess about. don't mess about with it. But the other thing is that I think it's the individual responsibility of a player to deal with pressure, in the same way it's their individual responsibility to be disciplined. Like, because motivation comes and goes, but the sort of principles that you live your life by are what keep you on the straight and narrow when you're talking about Amonde style metaphors. But the original kind of point is, I suppose, do you think that because of like the sort of constant and rampant speculation on Erik ten Hag's future, that he feels the pressure on him just to get the result? So we see players being overplayed. We see sort of same tactics used all the time, like a sort of a bit of desperation in there. And that maybe now we might see, I don't know, a return to more controlled, like build-up play and so on. Yabba.
Yeah, that's, you know what, listening to you just say that now, I think, that's a good point, really good point. Hopefully we do. You don't look like, it doesn't help the manager if you're putting constant pressure on him like that. Ineos have done a good deed here by sort of dropping these lyrics and saying that, you know, the pressure's only on the performance now and not on your head, and you don't have to worry about every game. You know, that's good. That's really good, you know, because it takes time. And people say, oh, he's 3 years into the job, he should know by now. But I think there's bigger, if you look at the bigger picture, he's 3 years into a job which has been up and down into a club that he's just trying to manage and get some sort of a nice, comfortable culture there, because it's changed so much. When he came a couple of years ago, we were in a mess. We had the Glazers. Remember, we had the riots when we were going to play the Liverpool game that got called off. It was all the uproar. Yeah, and all that. Everyone's talking about. I haven't heard dividends for a long time. That was the word that kept coming up.
Oh, dividends.
Yeah, everyone's moaning about money being taken out of the club and all this stuff. Don't hear that anymore. I think overall, most people must be pleased with Ineos, and this is another statement that's pleasing for me, because, like, once again, it's about the football side of things. That's what most fans are really interested in, going on a Saturday, tuning in, go and watch your team, enjoying them, you know, play good football and winning games. And I think that's what all fans want. No one's really interested in the Glazer stuff or the financial stuff and everything. We just want to see a good game of football, go home, go to the pub with your mates, talk about it, have a laugh, and that's what it's all about. That's fundamentally what football is really about. We come on the channel, we enjoy, great goals and great players, and really fantasize about our club. And this is something why we keep doing this with the channel. So overall, I think Ineos are doing a fantastic job. I think Ten Hag's doing a fantastic job. Harry Maguire is doing a fantastic job. And all the players that are there, all the players that are at the club right now, we just need to get behind them. Some of them I don't like, personally. Some of them annoy me, but it's not going to help by moaning and groaning at them. Anthony and Haaland, they're stressed. They're very stressed, aren't they? They want to do, they want to do well. They're desperate to do well. They really do. You can tell Anthony wants to get out there and prove people wrong. And just imagine if he scored a goal. Imagine he scored a hat trick. What do you think his reaction would be? Do you think he would kiss the badge and run to the fans, I told you so, and that sort of thing? It's a lot of frustration. So to relieve that, you need to take the pressure off and let them play their natural game. Because I'm sure in training behind closed doors, as you said, COVID season and all that kind of thing, when there's less pressure on, they might perform. But like you said, they're indulged in their social medias and in their image and ego and all that kind of thing. And it does distract from what they're doing on the football pitch. We've got a good team. We can do a lot better if we just take the pressure off.
All right. Should we go through some comments that like Andrew calling me a pervert? Right. Tyrone, good evening to you, has basically been complaining non-stop about international football and how he doesn't like the Nations League. I'm not a huge fan of international football, but I think the Nations League's quite a good idea. At least it kind of means something, and you get Portugal versus someone instead of Liechtenstein versus England in boring matches. Overhead Kick has popped in. Elite Baller is here, but he's sad. Guess why he's sad? Because he doesn't get to see Mr. B's curtain.
He was the one saying it matches your beard, was it?
Yeah. Colour clash.
Chris is saying he still thinks that Heath doesn't know his best 11 or even his formation. And Steph has finally come through on her 11. Promise. She's got some alternative United female goalkeepers. We've got Alexa Stepney, Petunia Schmeichel, and Edwina van der Sar. This is a good one. Jemima Defoe. I was always a big fan of him as a player. We got some sensible comments from Andrews and Carrie Bailey and Roy Carroll. It's not bad. Yeah. Chris wants to see Rashford start up top, Garnacho on the left this weekend. We'll cover that on the, I think Thursday. We'll do the preview. Mm. Fabian Barthez. Am I saying that right?
Fabian. What would that be? Maybe it's still called. Maybe it's still spelled. Maybe it still said Fabian. To be fair.
Yeah, I'll let Andrew off with this one because I find it quite funny. Les Seeley, Ashley Cole,
Ashley, yeah.
Joe Cole. Oh, we got some good ones. Martina Buchanan, Louise Macari, and Josephine Jordan.
Bloody hell.
This is a good one. Leona Messi. And Francine Stapleton. Francis.
She's really gone in, Stephanie boy.
Yeah. Like
What does it say?
It's got, so Mark Corram's coming and got Mark Cole.
We've had nothing all show from Mark. He just comes in with that one. Gabby Alonso, that's very good. Instead of Gabby Alonso,
good.
Stephanie Gerrard, Cristiano Ronaldo. All right. Now the subject we're going to finish you off with, I think, is really, really interesting and speaks to quite a lot of issues in football at the moment, and it is the hashtag #BarclaysMen, which has been on Twitter. Have you seen any of these, Yabba?
No. What is it?
So
you might enjoy it.
I think you'll really, really like it. What's happened is lots of people are putting together compilations of kind of forgotten players from the Premier League between 2005 to 2015, such as Hatem Ben Arthur, Michu, Lua Lua, and so on, and demonstrating these fabulous individual moments of skills and of goals that they've seen. So to start us off with, I want to know from both of you, which player from the Premier League would you have loved to have seen come to Manchester United? Like a Maverick style.
JJ
Mr. D,
Okocha.
are you
JJ Okocha.
you absolute effer? That's mine.
No way, bath time.
No, I've said this before, that in 1998, I saw Okocha playing on TV for Nigeria, and he had a special move where he rolled it over with his right foot and then did a step over with his left foot.
Yeah.
I still do that to this day. It's my favourite. It's my favourite move in football. JJ Okocha's one of my all-time favourite players.
Yeah, I would have loved to have him. I swear, I would have loved to have him at Old Trafford.
If you couldn't have had him, who would you? Is there anyone else who comes to mind? Like, there's one.
I want somebody who just. I like skillful players. I like players who just do stuff off the cuff. You know what I mean? JJ Okocha would kill, man. He had skill. See, Neymar, when he does the rainbow flicks over a player's head. Why do you practice these things in training? This to me, that's the whole point of learning all of these tricks. You've got the whatever their names they've got for all of these moves that they've got these youngsters called. But to me, there's no point in doing them in the garden and doing them in training. If that's going to get you past a player on the pitch, use it. If he can't stop it and he gets upset because you've rainbowed, flicked the ball over his head, more fool him. That's life. That's the way that it goes. So I'm all for embarrassing players on the pitch.
Nani against Arsenal is the first thing that comes to mind, like juggling the ball. I mean, Nani was our last, in my opinion, our last real Maverick that we had that performed. Like, I mean, is there anyone else? Did Depay do anything really mad? I suppose Zlatan, you could argue, was a bit of a Maverick. But for me, I'm trying to think of other players. One that I would love to have got to United to see what Fergie could have done with him is Tony Yeboah, because he scored some. He had a period of scoring sensational goals.
You would have Tony Yeboah, really?
Well, I think the thing is that with Ferguson, he could deal with Mavericks and a Maverick personality, right? So Cantona, etc. But he also had kind of standards that you had to get people to perform, that you had to perform each week. So if you take someone who was wonderfully skilled, like let's say Robbie Keane, who when he was 19 at Coventry was a really flary, fun player, what the levels that we might have got out of a player, like that. So but you've had some time to think about outrageously skillful players that you would have loved to have seen light up Old Trafford. Who are you thinking, and why is it? You're going to pick Mark Wright or someone, aren't you? Like Titus Bramble.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of great players in the Premier League, and obviously, when you're coming up against, as a Man United fan, you come up against players that you rate, and you drool over. You can only imagine them being in your side, and it'd be a lovely thing. So, for me, the main one for me is Paul Gascoigne. I think when he went from Newcastle to Spurs, the whole story about letting down Fergie, that was disappointing. I think he could have become a great player at Man United because we were on the up, at the time. Obviously, Alan Shearer going to Newcastle or even going to Blackburn initially, that was a disappointment for me because I thought he was hot back then. He would have done something good for us. And then coming to I know it's going to be an odd one, but I always like Wilfred Boney. I thought he was perfect. I thought he would have been perfect for us at the time because he was just short. So he could squat. You talk about McGinn and being able to sort of hold people up. He was so strong, could turn and finish, and really, good player. People might not rate him. I understand it, but at the time, I felt he would be a good fit for us. This is a few years ago now, but I thought he would be a good fit. Obviously, Matt Letizia, I admire him. Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle. These are players I just love. They really turn me on, these guys, to say what talents they are. But yeah, and then go. I know I'm just throwing out lots of names, but Paul McGrath when he got Player of the Year, Aston Villa. I was thinking, oh, what a loss! We missed out on him. And a bigger one is Gordon Strachan. We got rid of him, and he won the league title, beat us to the league title with Leeds, and he was Player of the Year. So it just goes to show you that there's so many talented players out there. King Clardsey for Man City, I thought he was amazing. I thought, wow! I thought at the time, I thought he's world class. Where did this guy come from? You know, but
Georgia.
we've had a great share of players, so we can't be too greedy. But the Premiership, is full of some mavericks, like you say.
Matt Letizia is. I think Matt Letizia is my next after a Kocher, and I also used to love David Ginola.
I was going to mention him. Yeah, fantastic, wasn't he?
And an odd one, but Moussa Dembele at Tottenham has always been.
Very good, bro.
Never lost the football.
Yeah. Right, if you see the comments, I've got some pretty good ones. We're starting off with a silly one though, which is Anelka. Maybe 19-year-old Anelka, yes, but not Man City's Anelka. Lee Trundle, a favourite of Soccer AM and an outrageously skilled Welshman.
Who said that?
He used skills. That was Andrew.
Yeah,
he used skills in the game.
Yeah,
Quality. He was a great one. The Nielsen, based off a football advert, I'd love to have seen come to Old Trafford as well.
Was that Dinelson? Was he the one who played in the green and white stripe?
Betis.
Yeah, he played for Real Betis.
That's the one. That's okay.
Left footer. Tyrone has gone for some good ones. Torres, Robin, Duff, Joe Cole, Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Robin. We were linked with Robin and Ronaldinho, weren't we? They could have come to Man United.
Joe Cole's the one that interests me the most there because, like, Robin, Duff and Ronaldinho had, I think, very good careers, probably about as good as they could have been. I'm not sure Cole ever got to the level of his potential.
Yeah.
So I'd like similar to your shout
Really?
about Gaza. Yeah, I think so. Playing with Jose and stuff, he sort of changed his game. He was very different at West Ham. Paolo Di Canio is another one I wouldn't have minded seeing at Old Trafford. Elite Waters and Anne Elka. Defoe. I like Defoe, but he's not really a maverick, is he?
No.
Thierry Henry. I knew someone was going to say that. Difficult to like Thierry Henry for me. Iniesta. Well, I mean, any of those, but I'd love Danny Alves. I know he's gone on to do bad things, but I always liked him as a player. Tyrone is saying that we tried to get Gerrard and Owen when the youth set up at Liverpool. We saw one of them, Michael Owen, probably a little bit unfairly judged at Old Trafford. He did all right, in my view. Yeah, like, you know, he scored in a final, I think, in the League Cup. He got a hat-trick in Europe. He did that beautiful goal against City to Giggsy's pass through. That's a memory that will live for a long time. I think he was okay for us. Carlton Palmer, brilliant. This is a good one. Does anyone remember Steve Ogrizovic?
Yeah,
Goalkeeper.
Coventry City goalkeeper. Yeah, I used to watch him there. Andrew is going for Gaza, which I think is a good shout. This is a good shout as well. Laurent Robert.
That's from Matty Bassett.
Yeah, and I think your brother, Amonde, liked another one. Was it Johnny Rotten or someone? Rotan at Monaco.
Jerome Rotan, yeah. Class, when they lost to Porto, Monaco lost to Porto, Mourinho's Porto in the Champions League final. That season, he was amazing. He was like left-footed Beckham.
Yeah. All right, we got Frank Lampard. I wouldn't call him a maverick. Zizou, I think he's another one who reached his potential. But this one from Andrew, I quite like. Tito Asprilla.
He's a maverick.
He just killed the title charge, didn't he? Tino.
Yeah. But it was a really gifted footballer, wasn't he? Like he was a bit mad. I remember did they beat Barcelona in a playoff for the Champions League?
3-3. No, it was 3-3. He scored a hat-trick in the group stages.
Yeah, and he was just running around St. James's with his shirt on.
How can you just remember that? How can that just be in your head?
That's how memory works. You have direct access to like your old memories. It's do the hypothalamus.
Do the
Hippocampus. I apologise. Robin van Persie earlier. Yeah. Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Vieira. I mean, Patrick was not a maverick, but Bergkamp, I don't know if I'd describe him as a maverick. Yabba?
Bergkamp, well, Maverick. It depends what the description of Maverick is. Bergkamp is a world-class player. Simple as that. He's one of the all-time greats in world football. So Maverick, maybe not, didn't have the personality, but they used to call him the Iceman, didn't he? Because his personality was a bit bland, but he was a killer. An absolute killer when it came to on the pitch. Technique, great array of goals. At the time, I mean, I love Eric Cantona, but I think Dennis Bergkamp was better than Eric Cantona.
Oh, come on, right, enough.
Just fuck off, man. What are you talking about, bro?
I have to say that Bergkamp did score one of my favourite goals in the Premier League, which was also against Newcastle United. Like that's a beautiful goal.
He's skinned the defender. But on Monday, that's blasphemous. What you said,
that
bro.
is.
Look, you think about international. Look at that goal scored in '98 against Argentina. Unfortunately, Eric Cantona never really got to hold that stage in Champions League or in international. Huh?
That's not his fault.
It is his fault. I mean, they had a chance to go through to the '94 World Cup, and Ginola gave all the way. Yeah, and
Cantona stamped on a couple of players.
It was Cantona and Papan up front. It was amazing. It's so such disappointing. So he never really got to fulfill his true potential, only at Man United domestically.
That's all we cared about. Matty Bassett has got an interesting one, which is Ija Johnson.
Good player, man. Wow.
Good player.
You know Barry Miller?
Yeah. He said, he talks about how difficult it was to play against Ija Johnson. He formed a really fun strike partnership with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who is a player that I wouldn't have minded at Old Trafford. He was fantastic at Atletico Madrid for a long time.
Well, for one season.
Yeah. Which is a long time ago. Boney was underrated. Lucas Modric. I think that's not a girl's name. I've been baited here. Simon is saying Drogba. I've been hell of a player. Not sure he was a maverick though, was he?
No, I don't think so.
Matt Letizia. Yeah, I'd love to have seen him there. Kante. I mean, that's a signing that I would make any day of the week. Like for United, he would have been a brilliant player to get in. This one's an odd one. Pascal Chimbonda.
Wow.
He was a Wigan player, I believe. He was a right back, I think.
Yeah.
The only really maverick right back I can think from the Premier League era was a crazy bloke at Arsenal called Emmanuel Aboué. I liked him as a player, but I read an interview with him once where he said that Emmanuel Adebayor was at the club and had said, you can go and get something out of my house. And Aboué hid in his house all day, dressed as a tiger, and then jumped out of a cupboard on him.
You serious?
Yeah. I've always quite liked Emmanuel Aboué. I'm not sure who John Sheridan is.
He played for Sheffield Wednesday. He scored a few goals against us, funny enough. Good player. Forwards. He was a forward, yeah.
Was it Hurst who had the hardest shot in football?
Yeah.
He was the left-footed at Sheffield.
Man United wanted him for ages. David Hurst. He was up there at the time, Him and Paul Warhurst for Sheffield Wednesday were smashing it.
We got Scott Parker, who he won some McDonald's thing, didn't he? He's good at tricks, but not really. I wouldn't say he was a maverick. Now this is a fantastic shout. Ravanelli at Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
I liked him. Obviously, Mark's gone for Mark Van Persie. Thanks, Mark. Morten Gamps Pedersen. You remember him?
Yeah.
I remember these names, but I couldn't even tell you what they look like.
Blackburn, blonde, milky bar kid, left-footed winger. Yeah. Norwegian, I think.
Yeah.
No. I think he means Daniel Amakachi, who was he an Everton striker?
Yeah. After the '94 World Cup, he got a big name, didn't he?
Hello, Hydro. I hope you're well. Do you know this player? Claudio Caniggia, Dundee United's finest.
Yeah, and Rangers, yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Roger Miller. I don't know if was he a Maverick? I don't really remember him.
No, not really a Maverick. I mean, like, he scored goals 38 years old in 1990 World Cup, and then went on to 94 World Cup and scored goals again at maybe at 42. Was he 42? Was it something like that? Or maybe he's 38 in 94. But either way, yeah, he's a legend of the game for what he achieved for Cameroon. He's just fantastic technique and great goal scorer. You just think, where's he been all these years and why didn't he blow up?
And here's a player that I've heard of, but I'm not too familiar with, which is Arsenal's David Rocastle.
What? You're not familiar with?
I haven't really seen him play.
Wow, what a player!
Is he called Rocky? Is that right?
Yeah,
Rocky
Rocastle,
yeah.
that's the one. Yeah.
Mr. B, tell me about him.
It's Ian Wright's boy, isn't it? They're estate kids. He had flair. He had a little bit of finesse, a lot of power. Really, really skillful as well. But it's like anything else. I mean, look, what did he passed away? I mean, it's been a little while, and they still sing his name.
Yeah.
At Arsenal. So
go and look at the goal he scored against Man United, where he lobbed Schmeichel from after being tackled from Paul Ince and thing. Yeah, he's good old school. He could play in the middle. He could play wide. He's just aggressive. Obviously, he was part of the team in Arsenal that won the 1989 league title against Liverpool at Anfield. What a great finish to a season that was. And he got injured and then he got sold to Leeds and never was really the same. But what a great player he was. Underrated. One of the best I've seen.
Well, I know this player, original Ronaldo. Imagine if we'd got him at 19. And another favourite of mine, Tuga. Sorry?
Trying to think who he was playing at 19. He would have been
PSV.
PSV, in it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think like 96, 97, he went to Barcelona, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Under Bobby Robson.
Yeah, so imagine Cantona and Ronaldo. Imagine that.
I mean, when he scored a hat trick for Real Madrid, they applauded him off the pitch at Old Trafford. So,
right.
You know,
seminal event, because I think that's what convinced Abramovich to buy a football club. He was there that evening.
Oh wow!
And then Tugay, one of my favourite players, Blackburn Turkish player, played for Rangers. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful player. My apologies to Overhead Kick TV. Apparently, he mentioned Espria first, so my bad. And now this is an interesting one: Duncan Ferguson and Eric Cantona up front. I mean, it's like Rush Hour or something.
They fight each other.
It would be unbelievable. Henrik Larsson, what a player. And this is a good one. Luis Figo.
Wow. I thought it was players that played in the Premier League.
Yeah, but this is him as a girl.
Okay,
so it's
all right.
Luis Figo, it's Luis Figo. Is he the biggest traitor, do you think, in football, Figo? Is he?
No.
I bet he's known better than Sol Campbell worldwide.
Yeah, but when you look at it, yeah, Michael Laudrup played for both clubs. What's his name? Hadji played for both clubs.
Yeah, I think it's how we left though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought his. They paid the money for him to go there. They were like throwing pigs' heads and things at him.
Pigs' heads. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really hated him, boy.
What would be like? What would be the worst? What would compare to that for Man United over the years? So Brian Robson. No, was it that as bad?
Yeah, of course it was.
Tevez is the biggest betrayal of my lifetime.
They had the poster up, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Schmeichel, I think cartwheeling was bad, but I don't have anything against, say, Andy Cole going to Manchester City.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the Tevez one was awful. I know he wasn't technically our player, but no, not a fan. I mean, the worst one has got to be Sol Campbell in British football.
Yeah. He said he's not going and went.
You know, I heard Sol Campbell interview the other day. He said he's disgusted that he hasn't been been knighted. He said he feels he should have been knighted by now. He feels he's one of the best sportsmen Britain have produced.
That's why he's not a manager, you know, because he's an idiot. Imagine going in an interview and you hear Sol Campbell talking all of that breeze.
Maybe that's what you need to get to the level that he was at, though, like this kind of incredible respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's
Nobody else has got
extraordinary.
it for a minute.
Well, I mean, he's a good player, Sol Campbell. I'd have taken him in a heartbeat at United. Like, he was a great centre back. But
Top player, but just
Sir Sol. I mean, Les Ferdinand. I always liked the way Les Ferdinand called himself Sir Les. I thought that was quite funny. But Campbell meant it. Unbelievable. This is an absolute screamer. Gabriel Batistuta. I've adored him at the club.
Remember when the World Cup when he had the penalty against Jamaica? My mum doesn't know nothing about football, innit? And she said, "Oh, is he good?" I said, "Look how hard he hits the ball." God bless her.
He was great. He was great.
What we can do, maybe tomorrow. I'm not here tomorrow. But, maybe what you could do tomorrow is do the foreign player from a foreign league you'd most like to have seen at Old Trafford, with the exception of Lionel Messi, because that would be the only correct answer, I think.
The only correct. I like that one.
I think, like it has to. Like, if you're going to pick a player to play for United who hasn't played for United in the last 20 years, I can't see beyond Lionel Messi as being the one to go for.
Well, we already had the greatest, so yeah, we don't mind having the second greatest, do we?
All right. Well, we've got a bit over there. Unless either of you two have got a burning player you want to tell us about, or
well, for me, there's only one. It's Romario. I just think he still to this day doesn't get his flowers, and I think he's a great legend of the football game. And if we had him Man United, I would have been delighted. Look what he did when we went to the World Club Championship. Him and Edmundo just ripped us apart, you know. So to me, he's a legend of the game. He's someone I've really admired all these years. And another player I really admire is Carlos Valderrama. I think he. We played against Montpellier one time. I think it was in the 91 en route towards the Cup Winners' Cup final. We played against Montpellier. He was playing for them back then, and I've always looked for footage, but I don't see much footage of him because I would like to see how he compared up against Paul Ince and Brian Robson of the day, you know. But Valderrama, for me, I don't think he was suited for English football, and that's why he was overlooked. What a great player!
He's highly rated in Latin America.
I base my game on him. Like the way I play football, it's on the way. It just makes it look so easy. It makes it look so easy. Such a simplifies the game, makes it easy. And a team player, what a great player Valderrama is.
Okay, now I don't want you to read this out because I'm worried I'm being baited into saying something.
Yeah, I've tried to look.
I can't see.
So the name is
Kalusha
Bawala.
All right, say it together. Let's give them what they want. Kalusha
Bawala. Yeah, see, it's not rude. I tried. I had it in my head. And unless it's foreign rude.
Yeah, I think it's foreign rude. I'm not sure. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, there's no way that's rude. I've tried. I've gone through my head so much times.
I reckon that this is like Bar or something, and we're being like laughed at in another country. We've just said something outrageous, but apparently real player. But look, Chris Watkins also plays his football very similar to Pirlo. All right, I think it's Lacanoche time, isn't it?
Yeah, Lacanoche.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow doing something or other.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m. as usual. We'll find something to talk about. Maybe don't take no notice to the thumbnail. Just hit the notification button.
We'll just list old footballers for an hour. Lots of fun. All right. Thank you very much to everyone watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. It's Lacanoche from me.
And me.
And Lacanoche from me.